It's our live audience show on Wednesday. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have my co-host here. Hi, ladies.
Good morning.
Barakada Salah Nimat.
So Eid
How you
Mubarak
doing?
to all
Eid
the
Mubarak.
Muslims all over the world.
So
I
how
love
was
that
Salah yesterday?
This Eid was very unifying. There was no differences in our dates. Everything was fine. But I have a problem with the ladies of your view.
What happened? Bikun?
So you people know that I always do my shout-out things, and you had the problem that I sent it across again yesterday. Why?
I didn't have a problem.
I had a problem.
These
Serious
people,
problem.
these people had problem.
Nima does shout out
Eh?
every day.
Okay, I want to
now
do
the
it
day
again.
she's not on set, she still sends the
I
shout
sent
out.
the shout-out ahead.
But how was your Salah though?
Salah was beautiful. I enjoyed myself. My kids enjoyed themselves. And, you know, Salah continues today, right after the show. We're going to Mama.
I think generally Salah was good for everybody. Did you guys enjoy Salah? Anybody enjoy Salah
I didn't
here?
enjoy anything. Nobody gave me meat
You-
or anything. Yet.
You didn't enjoy
Relax
Salah?
now.
I did not.
So what did you do
Relax
yesterday?
now.
I was just, okay, I was on set. I went home
But is
yesterday.
going to get me. I'll just go and post DHL Salah to her now. We really enjoyed Salah. But happy birthday, Benedicta Oladimeji Tinubu. She's a friend's wife and she deserves some accolades. So she got them yesterday. Happy birthday.
Fantastic. How are you doing, madam?
I'm doing amazing.
Nice slippers.
Thank you. So, you know,
Way too
I
much.
mentioned,
Go ahead.
I mentioned that my brother-in-law's wife-to-be lost the mother. So we're waiting on the family to say, okay,
Decide.
should we go ahead? The wedding
Wedding.
is this Saturday. So they've given a go-ahead. So we are heading to Badagry on
Okay.
Friday to marry her.
That's
I
what-
just hope the wedding will not
Yes.
be...
That's what the mother would have
yeah.
wanted. So I
Okay,
think that's
so
what
have to
the late-
continue,
have to
right?
continue because, hey, she's starting her life. So she would definitely want her to do that. Well,
And then she should
congratulations.
So my dress is ready.
I
like,
hope she
seriously.
understands this is just a coincidence.
Yes.
There's nothing to it.
Right.
Nothing
African
personal.
people.
Hi, Topsy. How was yesterday?
It was fun.
Right.
I enjoyed myself. I went to just one place, Senator Ashafa's.
You're regular.
Yes,
Every
regular. I've been
year.
going for the past 4 years, and so it was the usual suspect. We saw everybody that we usually see every time. I tried to contain myself from dancing too much because I realized that once I hear music, I just go haywire. So I was like, let me
Dancing
dance,
senator.
classy, dance. As you don't know what the camera. Maybe somebody is using one small phone to be recording you before you start scratching body too much. You don't comport yourself. But I had fun. It was really nice. Mariah came in briefly and was looking visibly.
Honestly.
Oh my God.
I went to
I
5
saw the pictures.
places.
Wow.
I mean, I think nobody enjoys Salah like me. I can tell you for free.
But you're tired.
Like,
I go to one and I
enjoyed myself yesterday.
Really?
In fact, we got home, myself and my husband started doing some soul searching. How can we be enjoying Salah like this? And
When you are Christians.
Christmas Day, we will just be in our house, cook your own chicken. Just so this doesn't make any sense. We have to turn the tables. We have to make Christmas also this fun because I had too much fun. Yesterday, we started with my uncle's place in Shita. Alaji Fuja, Wadi Fuja, we were there, it was fun, the drummers came, the dancing, it was just exciting, everybody outside having fun, a great time. From there I went to Oniru, hung out with my auntie there, family, friends, ate plenty food. From there I went to Ikoyi, had fun,
Yeah.
I went to
Hey!
Magodo, had fun. After that, dropped the children at home, they now went to the Ashafa party. Goodness me, Emi Nikanta.
I said so that you have this.
I had too much fun.
You were tired
And
yesterday.
luckily, because I knew I was going to have fun, I carried like 10 plastics with me. So
Seriously?
everywhere, I know, take away.
Well, no, that-
And I finished eating. They put their meat and the rice, two per place.
So that's a good package.
I ate a big
came-
pot of soup today.
I came home and I had load to offload. I mean, if you come to my house today,
your freezer is
party is
stocked
just
now.
starting.
Can you
In fact,
imagine?
I've told them, please warm the food, but by 10 o'clock I'll be home. Please, warm everything. So that we start our whole party in the house. Anyway, let's go on
But
the
it
break.
was good.
It was fun.
Both Christians, Muslim, everybody enjoying having
everybody
fun
fun.
together, which
That's-
is what
that's the
should be
idea. We had
about.
great time. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll breeze through the front pages of the
Yes,
papers.
sir.
Honestly, it's a holiday. We don't want to read papers. But stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start very quickly with the punch. Tinubu versus Saraki talk about 2023 presidency premature, says APC. Picture here of our president taking over Eid Kabir prayer ground in Daura. Buhari demonstrated fitness for second term by trekking 800 meters.
Who sent it?
Claims presidency. DSS blindfolded me, held me incommunicado for 2 years, says free journalist. Air Force bombs Boko Haram facility, kills scores. Father accuses undergraduate of stealing severance pay. Resign or we'll force you out, Miyetti Allah tells Saraki. Olubadan's letter forced new kings to make peace, says Ladoja. And Buhari rules out scrapping of NYSC, observe Salah in Daura. So that's good, NYSC stays. Let's take the human resource, sorry, I said human interest story.
Yes. Of the man, Adegiwa, who accused his son of stealing his severance pay. So he lost his job. His company actually packed up in April 2017. So he was thinking they would call them back, but they didn't. In December 2017, they sent him a retirement letter. So March 2018, the boss had to send him 140,000 naira as part of his severance pay. And then his son, who was around, saw the alert and debited 135,000, leaving 5,000 naira for him. So he went to the police to report that his son has stolen from him. He was saying that the son has stolen from him before, that wasn't the first time it happened. So they launched an investigation into the case. According to the boy's side of the story, that the father wasn't taking care of them. He just spends money on himself and leaves the mother and himself to sort out themselves. So he said he admitted to stealing the money, and he said he told his father he will pay him when he gets a job. So it's under investigation at the moment.
It just shows the issues of parenting, lack of good parenting, or lack of taking responsibility of your own, the parenting you've gotten.
It was the role model his son copied.
Yesterday was the story of a boy that beat his mom to use his mom for ritual killing, and then we have another one right now.
Let me tell you the story on the free journalist.
John Sabiri is the journalist, the Bayelsa journalist that was taken away from his office with a warrant of arrest signed by a magistrate. Lucky, I don't understand as a lawyer how a magistrate just has one name on his warrant of arrest, but he was weeks away in 2016 and he was released 2 years after. He remained in the DSS custody for that long. Put in an underground. The details are too gory for a journalist in the making to understand. But this man had all his rights abused, and I want him to please explore the fundamental rights enforcement.
Moving on now to The Nation. Governors yet to submit proposal for new wage. Picture here of the National Youth Service Corps members having fun, obviously, at Salah. Buhari fit to contest 2019, says presidency. Ajimobi urges calm as NURTW chairman dies. 11 die in Eid Kabir Day accident. All right. So who has the story on the governors yet to pay to submit their proposal for the new wage?
So the president had put together a committee headed by deputy headed by the Minister for Labour. And he is complaining that the governors are supposed to be members of that committee. They're also supposed to be...
I thought they were agreeing on
some of them. They're supposed to, the suggestion is the president is saying the present minimum wage structure has, expired, is no longer working for the country. They're proposing that, people bring suggestions. So a substantive NLC proposed 56,000. Another NLC group is saying, no, that's not right. And the governors are saying, we do not have to pay only salaries, and they are refusing to suggest an amount of money.
They only know how to criticize.
I say it. If you cannot be a governor and generate funds, at least you should be able to downsize your system, pay people handsomely, settle them, let them go look for something, and be able to, the ones that are working, let them get dignity in their labor.
Let's move on to Daily Sun very quickly. Federal government rakes in 21 billion naira, $378 million, and 27,000 pounds. That's through the whistleblowing policy. Lai Mohammed lists recoveries from tax evaders and public offenders. Abdul Salami advises political leaders against bitterness. Buhari treks 800 meters after Eid al-Kabir prayers in Daura. I rejected overtures to replace Ikweremadu, says Abarebe. And FG failed woefully in Southeast, says governors.
So those that are saying the president is about to die and the president is weak, the president obviously is not about to die and is not weak. He has demonstrated his fitness by trekking 800 meters. Go and measure and start walking. When you finish, send picture. But it was a reply from the presidency to verify the fact that a lot of people have been saying on social media that the president's traveling incessantly is because he's not fit and he's not ready to run for second term. And that this proves the fact that the president is strong enough to go for another 4 years. Right.
So I guess
I'm just stating the fact.
That's the new criteria for presidency.
Is to walk
800 meters. Got to work it.
So for him to be president.
I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Remember those people that trek for him to be
all
president?
the way, yeah, so true.
Right.
But this is just to counter the fact that they were saying he's not fit.
Okay, moving on now to Vanguard. FG has failed our zoning project, says Southeast governors. How deals with governors fuel opposition to direct primaries? Suspected killer of Ekiti monarch arrested. Committee, governors yet to agree on minimum wage, says Ngige. 2019, presidency replies Tambuwal, says Buhari physically fit for second term. Our parties lack leadership qualities. And United Nations demands swift justice for perpetrators of Borno killings. I know you had the story on the killings.
Yes,
go ahead.
The suspected killer of the monarch in Ekiti was apprehended. Finally, the monarch was stabbed after a meeting with his council chiefs on Monday. So they've arrested the suspect, and he's confessed to the killing, though they are saying he's not mentally stable, and investigations are ongoing.
Okay, and then OBJ is speaking?
Yes, it was, OBJ, former president, Olusegun Obasanjo. He has a new party called the ADC, and while receiving the National Working Committee of the party, he mentioned the fact that we mustn't go the same way of other parties within the country that is driven and empowered by few money bags. That let us focus on let the party be driven by members' individual funds. People should contribute towards the party. So it's member-driven rather than a few money bags driven that. It is the fact that we have few money bags controlling a lot of the parties that we have structured right now is the reason few people get to choose every other person going into political position.
Southeast governors are saying that the government has failed in their zone because lots of projects that were penciled down for that region when carried out. And I think Lai Mohammed and Minister Fashola responded, saying that's totally not true, that they're just playing cheap politics.
To the gallery. So.
All right, moving on now to New Telegraph. There's a human interest story I'd like us to take that. 8 women steal a day-old baby and 9 children. Buhari will fund 2019 elections regardless of National Assembly's approval. That's Sage speaking. It's Sage. APC youths boo governor and attack convoy. So I read that story about the woman, 8 women stole a baby and 9 children. And interestingly, between July 24th and August 17th, that's when these children were. So they're asking that if you've lost a child during that time, please contact the police. This is in Imo State. They actually took 2 children from Sabo here in Lagos, Ajangbadi, where Habib and Wumi, a few others from different regions and different states. So if you have missing a child between July 24th and August 17th, please contact the nearest police station to see.
There's this picture of a child, 4 years, that they've been circulating. So I think they should just.
So there are actually 9 children in this that were captured from Imo State and 1 baby. So it's important you reach the police. Let's talk about Buhari said. He says
Professor
your prof.
Was saying that the issues around the election reconvening to do the appropriation for elections, and the National Assembly, he just was addressing the issues, and he talked about Saraki being afraid of being removed. Then he talked about the president, whether or not they approve this amount of money that is needed for election. The president will go ahead and fund it. I looked through the story for a law that would allow it happen.
No, but I don't think, when I read that article,
I didn't see any section.
He didn't really say it straight out. I think it was implied that, listen, if you think you can hold us to ransom,
he was
and not
saying,
pass, cannot reconvene.
Destroy our democracy. This is tantamount to treason. This is.
So he was suggesting that it would
go ahead.
But for a professor, Sagi, I would have expected
not even does that, but because he's the head of the Presidential Advisory Committee on Anti-Corruption, I would expect him to hold an advisory role. So advice is based on what is applicable. So what the law allows, what exceptions you have, or, those kind of things. Those are the kind of things I would like to.
I guess you're just saying that, listen, if you can't hold us to ransom. If you hold us to ransom, this thing will be passed. Because according to him, leaders will not just sit back and wait till February and nothing happens. That will definitely.
So some kind of.
Okay, let's move on now to The Guardian. Do we have some time? We don't have much time. Buhari walks 800 meters to prove fitness for 2019 poll. So please, all you young people, start walking. Very, very important.
It's a good form of exercise.
All majors, tanker owners defy presidential orders. And very quickly, Nigerian Tribune, Buhari fit for 2019, trekked 800 meters, says presidency. Right, you see, I told you.
Just start checking.
The way you're even reiterating it.
Yes,
no,
it's in all the papers.
The president's
fact, it was a major story.
We
have to run. Unfortunately, that's all we can take on the show. When we come back, we invite our Indomie Independence Day Award winner, and later we discuss the extension of PVC, and how we can actually select real and true leaders. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Your View. Thanks for staying with us. So every week we remind you that Duffel Premier Foods, the makers of Indomie noodles, noticed the gap in not appreciating youngsters below 15 years of age who have done something heroic and amazing. Hence, they created this Indomie Independence Day Awards. For the past 11 years, Indomie has rewarded 37 winners with $1 million each as a scholarship. This year is no different, as 3 more children will be awarded in October. Today in the studio we have Naja Nuhu. She came in 3rd in the Indomie Independence Day Award 2014. Watch this clip.
Naja Nuhu is a teenage girl who lives with her parents at number 13, Musabawa Lane, off Ishaku, Chetubo Street, New Caro in Abuja. Her account is a tale of a little girl's display of unbelievable audacity at the risk of being killed. Naja is from a comfortable family, and her father owns a pool of exotic cars that are displayed in their house. One night, some robbers jumped the wall to gain access into the house with the aim of stealing from one of the cars. Naja was up late that night, as it was her usual practice. That night, she stayed awake studying, and suddenly she heard strange noises and the sound of keys. Naja stood up from her bed and looked towards the direction of the strange noises. To her utmost amazement, Naja noticed 2 robbers trying to force open one of the cars. She fought back the urge to go and alert her father, as she felt any slight noise from inside the house might draw the attention of the thieves, who believed that the occupants of the house were all fast asleep. Spurred by God, Naja came out of the house and went straight to confront the robbers. The 2 men trying to force the car door open became frozen, with their mouths wide open, as if they had just seen a real ghost. But they quickly came back to their senses, and one of them ordered Naja to go down on her knees and not make any sound, or he would smash her skull. The little girl summoned boldness and told the robbers that her father had shot a thief the previous day and he was about to shoot them. She urged them to drop their weapons and bend down because her father was at the window aiming his gun at them, that any attempt to scamper in escape would cause her father to shoot them. The robbers were so terrified that they complied with Naja and dropped their weapons. At that point, Naja picked up the weapons and ran inside, shouting for help. Immediately, her father and her uncle ran outside and apprehended the robbers as they made to escape.
My name is Naja Nuhu Almasi. I'm 13 years old. At night, I usually wake up to study my books. I heard some strange sounds of keys and footsteps. When I was in the room studying my books, then I peeped through the window and saw 2 robbers, quite armed. So I was confused on what to do. I wanted to go and report it to my dad, but I thought any slight noise might attract the robbers and they might try to escape. So instead, I told the Holy Spirit to help me on what to do. A boldness came into me and I went out to confront the robbers.
I'm Sarki Ibrahim Almasi. Okay, on that fateful night, while we were asleep, we had a scream. Naja screamed. So with that, we were so anxious, we rushed out. So he said, "They are thieves, they are thieves." So that was how he called the policeman. When we arrested them, we handed them over to the police.
So, welcome back. So at that time, you were a 12-year-old liar, lying to the armed robbers that your father was about to shoot them.
Yes.
Why did you come up with that lie?
I don't know. I think it was just inspired by the Holy Spirit. I don't know. It's just came.
Oh, Holy Spirit made you lie.
No, not like he lied, I lied, but that was the only way out, I thought.
Right.
I could only get their attentions. I could only get them to drop their weapons so that they won't harm me.
So weren't you scared that they were carrying weapons too, that they could harm you? They could have harmed you. Do you know that, right?
they weren't carrying a gun. So
Okay, you're sure?
Yeah.
You could see in the dark that there was no gun.
so they can't shoot me, but the other weapons, you know, they can just drop them and I.
So 12-year-old child now decided to let me go and confront them. Right. So when you now screamed for help, who showed up?
My uncle, my neighbor, and my dad.
Okay, and what did they do?
Well, there was a very, let me say, collision course. They came and how they got to catch the robbers was
they caught the
just,
robbers?
yes, they did. And it was like
wow.
awesome. They were about to run away and I was happy they
Fantastic.
did.
So you handed them over to the police.
Yes.
But since that day, I'm sure the story got out. Your friends talking, Naja the hero,
my
the
God.
armed robber, the robbers confronter.
Yes.
How has that episode made you feel?
At first, I was just like, it's nothing big. It's
Right.
just something I had to do. After all, they didn't buy the car, so you're not supposed to go with it.
Exactly.
But now, as Indomie has helped, I now feel like a celebrity. Anywhere I go, it's just
Are
be
you
like,
serious?
she was on TV, and I was like, yeah, I was on TV.
But you know you shouldn't be confronting robbers. You know that's a standard rule. Like you in no place to that because that's dangerous.
Yes.
All right, let me go to your uncle who's in the audience with us right now. Uncle,
Yes.
so when you heard the scream, what happened?
Well, I peeped through. I just came out. So on coming out, I alerted my neighbor. So that was how we were able to arrest the thieves. So we called the police, and they came and took them to the station.
Wow.
Yes.
So were you scared for her? I mean, after the whole episode, did you somewhat try to make her understand that you cannot be doing these kind of things? I mean, as
Definitely,
heroic as it is, we're celebrating it, but at the same time.
No, I wasn't celebrating it.
Okay.
I warned her seriously. Shouldn't have done that.
Right.
It's quite risky, you know.
Right.
So children watch films, so they feel they can do everything. You understand? So I
Exactly.
had to scold her not to repeat such a thing.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, that was such a great feat you did, and you came third. Maybe that's why you didn't come first. but still, though, at least Indomie tried
Yes.
to project you because you did something that will be acknowledged as heroic.
Yeah.
Now, what are you doing right now? How old are you now?
I'm 15.
So what are you doing right now?
I'm student. I'm about to round up next year.
Right. So you thinking of going into the police force or
No.
what are you thinking?
I want to become a lawyer.
Oh, lawyer.
Yeah.
Okay. What inspired that?
I think sometimes rights are not, let me say, appreciated and not being given to others. So why will I sit back and see others not being given the liberty they ought to have or ought to get? So if we as children don't get to support the truth, because people say lawyers are liars, but I don't believe.
You lied to a 12-year-old.
No,
you lied.
no. I
So
didn't.
maybe you're supposed to be a lawyer.
No, I'm not supposed to be a lawyer because I have to lie, but
Okay.
I have to be a lawyer to support the truth.
Oh,
and nothing but the
fantastic.
truth.
Well done. Congratulations. Let me shake your hands for that. I
Thank
think it was well said. All right. So we're here once again. We're trying to remind people the importance of heroic. When you do heroic things, Indomie has tried to appreciate youngsters, especially under 15, who have done great things in the social categories, physical categories, and intellectual categories. If you know any young person that have done this, please contact their website, Heroes of Nigeria, to register that child so they can be a recipient or possibly be a recipient of the award. It's coming up in October, and that's why we're doing this. Thanks again for coming, Naja, to the show.
Thank you, man.
We're going to go on a break now. When we come back, we'll discuss the extension of the PVCs and what kind of leaders are we really looking for. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. Nigeria has been clamoring for change of hands in the government, coming up with Not Too Young to Run bill that's recently sensitizing young people on how to make sure they get their PVCs and to also get as many young people in the system as possible. Recently, INEC added 2 more weeks to the collection of PVCs so as to have a right to vote whoever they want. The question now is, what kind of leaders are we looking for? Yes, we're getting your PVCs, but what are we looking for? Recently, we've seen all types of leaders.
Everybody wants
Everybody
to become
wants
president.
to run for one kind of office or the other. So we need to go back and say, okay, yes, we're asking you to get your PVCs, but let's agree. What are we looking for? Joining us on the show is the Vice President for Center for Values in Leadership, Mr. Rashid Adegbenro. Welcome to the show, sir.
Welcome.
Welcome, sir.
To join the conversation, you can call us on 070-806-68014. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. Thanks for joining us again, sir. INEC recently extended PVC collection for 2 extra weeks. So we're tell people to please ensure. In fact, they've even made it available weekends, Saturdays and Sundays.
Wow.
So I think it's going to be 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
5 p.m.
It used to be 9
As
a.m. to
against
3
3
p.m.
p.m.
Now it's going to be 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So they've done everything they can do to get us to get our PVCs. In your own view, do you think we have the right leaders coming out so far, especially young leaders? Have you, in your own experience, have you seen young people that you feel that have the qualities, the kind of qualities we're looking for? Do they have it?
Well, I think the starting point is to first agree, why do we need leaders? Based on that, you can now look those who match the qualities we're looking for. A society without a leader is a society in confusion.
Okay.
It's like you go on a boat cruise and there's no captain for the ship. You lost at sea.
Yes.
So in managing human resources, which is the population we have, you need somebody to be ahead, to steer the affairs of the nation. And what we're talking about is people who can see tomorrow today.
Exactly.
Vision.
Let's talk of vision. People can see tomorrow today and convince others through their qualities to share that same view so that the whole society could work towards that vision.
I'd like to talk of vision a bit because we all see tomorrow. We all have an idea what we want to see. We want to see railways, we want to see electricity. Everybody has an idea. But how do we break down that vision to show that this person has a path to take us there, has an actual path to take us to the
That's
promised
the
land?
more reason why you need a leader. Because in a country of 180 million people, you could as well have 182 million visions.
Exactly.
But you need somebody
be lost.
to calibrate and harmonize all interests for the common good of the people.
Everyone, sir.
I
I think we should go to the past to help us see how bad we are now and what we would need in the future. So the Minister for Works and Housing was here on Friday. He mentioned how we've outgrown all the infrastructure that we have. How would it have been if we had a leader who could have seen that, in 10 years, Lagos will have this population and plan ahead? Who would have seen that, Abuja as the capital today would be overpopulated in a few years? How much land do we need to reclaim? Should we have trucks moving our goods instead of railways? Where should we have holding bays provided? Somebody should have been seeing this vision. And that's why we are where we are today. So I'd like you to please allude a bit to the past, the deficit that we have now, and what we should be looking at in the future. So when we have a candidate who does not have the foresight, who is not giving us the projections that we want, that person should certainly not qualify.
Before you answer though, quick addition to the importance of vision is we saw China and Chinese were deliberately reducing the number of children being given birth to. And people felt that, how can you be saying they should have just one child? But they knew that they were going to grow astronomically. So for 20 years, they deliberately curtailed childbirth. And yet they are still over 10 billion, which is a huge number by all standards. What do you see? What should we look out for? What is the kind of vision we should be observing right now that will make us feel we should trust this person with our votes?
Yeah, I think addressing this question, particularly what you had alluded to, what we suffered in the past is what we refer to as failed leadership. We also have, aligned with that, failed followership. Because we have a responsibility to elect our leaders in a democratic setting.
Yes.
And if you get the wrong people into office, then the entire society will suffer for it. When you're looking for a leader, there are two dimensions the society or voters need to consider. One of the two dimensions is the leader that will emerge must have knowledge.
Okay. Knowledge.
Knowledge.
Okay.
Talking of knowledge, we're talking of people who are abreast of issues on what you can call policy intelligence.
Yes.
They can see vision and project forward what Nigeria will be the next 10, 20, 30 years. They can do that. Aligned to that also is uncompromising sense of service.
Strong.
People-centered positions. These are the type of leaders you're looking at. The moments you have a leader who is people-centered, it's not about him, but about the majority. All other negatives will fall out.
Okay, sir, I wanted to quickly say that, you know, during all these politics, when it's time for elections, that's where we see stomach infrastructure. They come out to give bribes and give Indomie and give rice for you to vote them in. And then by the time they get into position, you find out that there's no empathy. They are really not putting themselves in your position to understand how you feel. How do we ensure that all of these leaders who now give out good manifestos, some of them will still probably do the stomach infrastructure, that they have empathy, that when they get in there, they won't forget the people who put them and help?
Yes, that's why I talk about failed followership. When you want to elect people, you need to scan the background of those who are putting themselves forward for election. And when they get to office, that is not the end of the business. But in our history, we find that the moment election is over, people get elected to office, other political offices like ministers and commissioners, or go to the assemblies, we go to sleep until another 4 years. There should be consistent monitoring and evaluation. What are the credentials of these people before they go to office? And when they are running in office, we must track their performance so that such people don't come back a second time around. But you have people who have been recycled from the 60s to today. So the followership has a responsibility.
So a person has pedigree, has this from a good background. His father was a former governor. They've done things. Is that the kind of past that we should be looking at? Or it has a master's, 2 master's degrees? And, you know, is that what we should be looking at? To determine whether the person will be selfless enough to lead us.
Beyond that, I'd mentioned initially that you need knowledge. People can manage. What we've had in the past is that Nigeria had not presented its first 11. People who lack knowledge.
Thank you.
Many of those who
We've not had our best leading us.
Yes.
Who did not believe Nigeria could become a buoyant economy like we have oil flowing in. So they could not manage the resources because they lacked the knowledge to manage big capital. They lack the knowledge, what we can refer to as they have village mentality. People who cannot see beyond their immediate environment. So going forward, these are the things we need to see. Not that your father was a minister, that's irrelevant. What have you done?
Let me
as a person?
Can I pause you for a second? Because, you see, what you said is so profound, and I want our audience to understand it very well. There are 2 types of leaders we've seen. There are those who probably qualify because they started from the grassroots. They started with maybe the various leadership positions, got into the House of Reps, gradually got into leadership with the communities, got to Senate, looking for governorship. You know, the whole works. There's that. They have the knowledge in politics in Nigeria. Now, we can vote that kind of leader. That's A. B, a fresher who has the knowledge, doesn't have any grassroots experience, but he has the experience. Now, he has the competence and he has all the wherewithal in running a company. That he has the prerequisite knowledge. So he has a vision, he's taking us somewhere. That's another kind of leader. So I'm asking you now, A and B. Do we have them separately, or do we say as a people we want the knowledgeable person? You guys don't have political experience, you're not a member of any party, you have no clue. Is that who we should be looking for, or should we stick to the man that has been in the system from day one and can take us, who understands the system? Who do you think is the right leader for us?
If a man old in the system steps forward to want to lead, and he lacks the knowledge, lacks the knowledge to manage the resources of the state at that level, is not qualified. Otherwise, what we go to so far is a shipwreck.
Okay.
How do we know that
same thing, if you have somebody who's gone through the academia, is sound, he has knowledge, but he has not been tested in managing people and resources, that's a question mark. Leadership is not just one person. You're talking of a team. A team that will lead the nation. Just like you have, example was given this morning, even on this station. We have a pilot, there are hostesses aboard the aircraft, There are other service providers, flight engineers are on board to support the pilot and the co-pilot to make sure the plane completes its trip. So also leadership, you must see a leader that has a team to support him.
Okay. All right, when we come back, we're going to continue this conversation. Let's go on a quick break. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thank you for staying with us. So Tope has a question, or some questions. Go ahead, Tope.
So you know, we have this intelligent conversation all over on like social media, on Twitter, on TV, and the general population, the largest part of our population, the voting population, are not as enlightened to make the necessary decision. While the current president was contesting, there was, what has he done? He has tried to contest for past three elections. What has he been doing in between the last time and now? What has he earned in his stripes to make us want to vote him in? We were asking those questions. We didn't get answers to the question, actually, but people still voted for him. So here's my thought. How do we go from talking intelligent big grammar and connect with the voters on the ground who are indeed very hungry and will take that rice or whatever it is? How do we connect with them?
Yes, thank you for that wonderful question. The missing link is that the political parties are lacking in terms of their service to the electorate.
Okay.
Same thing, we have a dearth of civil society organizations.
Yeah.
This is their turf, this is their territory. After the last election in 2015, a lot of people have spoken that more civil society organizations are required to sensitize what we call voter education. It's very critical. If it's missing, it's like you didn't go to primary school and you just find yourself in secondary school. So you need a lot of civil society organization that will put the political parties on track to ensure that voters are properly sensitized. The last election, 2015, you'll be surprised that in spite of our population, eligible voters data issued by INEC was about 87 million voters. By the time registration was coming on board, 20 million of that expected figure did not show up. So we recorded 67 million voters. When PVC was issued, the figure dropped to 56 million. And when actual election came in 2015, only 29 million voters were recorded. So you could see a big gap. We lost almost 50 million voters were lost, which shows a lot of apathy on the part of the electorate.
That can sway the election.
These are things that do influence election turnout because majority of the people, either technically or otherwise, have been written off.
Let me take this call from Victory. Victory, are you there? Good morning. Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
I think the last time I still asked this question from Mr. Fashola, and I'm asking Tope and Nima in reference to that same issue. I think the person who does in this country is foundational. Foundational in the sense that there is no foundation, even a template, for the intellectual mind to come on board to govern and administer in this country. Until we realize it, we keep on doing this same problem over and over again. Now, come to think of it, Morayo. Now we're having 91 political parties. Are we serious-minded in this country? We should get ourselves true until we face practical reality. We are heading nowhere. We already were laughing, talking behind the international community that we keep on doing the same over and over again. Look at China.
Thank you very much, Victory.
Are we ready?
So what's the foundation?
Quickly
I didn't get the question.
Like, what's the foundation for intellectual people to get involved in politics? That there's no, we have 19 political parties. How do you get intellectual people involved? 91.
Well, intellectual people, one, seeking leadership. Secondly, wanting to be an active player in politics. There are two routes to political leadership. You either contest election, and one will be honest, you need tons of money to do that because of the size of our country. The second route is to offer service. that's where a lot of professionals and intelligent people are lacking. We believe politics is for the infrastructure, stomach people. So a lot of us stay away from it, and that's where we are wrong. If in your community a meeting is held at the ward level, let's say 200 people are in attendance, and you have, out of the 200, 180 are people who have not gone much on the education ladder. It's from that 180 that chairman or local government will emerge. That's where the ministers will be nominated. That's where the senators will emerge. So we shoot ourselves in the foot by staying away.
I need to go to the audience, but let me take Nima's question first.
Okay, so leadership is beyond general elections. We have leadership, we have elections within the, each civil society groups. These are groups who are supposed to put pressure on government to put in policies that are right. NLC, for instance, is in different phases. How do we get the civil society groups, pressure groups, to do their job, and push the right leadership out?
It's the responsibility of all of us. I would advise not just for you to have passion or have your PVC. You need to get to the parties at what level. You have to, that's where the control system
Without being
is.
in office,
You need to go and
influence.
register with the political party. Be an active player in that party, and make sure you are represented at the ward level. If you have this influence at the base, then it's very likely that qualified people will emerge through that.
The qualified people become infiltrated, but let me come to the audience. Let's get one or two comments or questions. Go ahead, please.
Okay, my name is Nike. I'd like to talk about the PVC registration process. I think the process is a little bit difficult, and for the past few weeks now, I've been unable to get my PVC. The last time I went, I woke up as early as 5, got there at 5:45, and I was on number 422. By the time the PVC official, the INEC officials would come, it was around past 10, and they had to calm us down for about 30 minutes. They didn't start until around 11, and throughout that period, they didn't do more than 10. So the registration process was very, very difficult. So I think they can do better, because I really want to vote come next year, and I don't have my PVC.
Thank you very much for that, because actually, we hope to get an INEC official to address this PVC issue, because we're going to talk about it earlier, but we just realized that we can only lament, but we let us get somebody from INEC who can tell us what measures they're putting in place to help it, make it easier, because we want people to use these 2 weeks extra to get their PVC. So we'll try to get somebody from INEC as soon as possible to help us address these issues. Let me let Obiajulu.
Yes. Sir, we know that in our country we have a major problem is politics of godfatherism. There are people who see themselves or call themselves kingmakers. So no matter how much we, pick this person for their track record, this person for their leadership qualities, their vision and all of that, there are still people who will say, this one does not belong to us, this one is a boy, he should go and sit down. How do we tackle that problem? Because it's not enough to just speak English and say, we want this, we want that. Right. They are kingmakers who are holding strong our economy. What do we do about it?
Well, kingmakers emerge because they have influence on a number. They're working with the figure.
So grow your influence.
And you can only challenge that figure if you move en masse into the political party. For example, 2019 is around the corner. If in your area, either at the ward level or the local government level, you mobilize human resources for voters and you move en masse into a political party in that locality, the issue of godfatherism will disappear.
Okay. Yeah.
Because figures will tell who actually controls the numbers.
Let me take one more comment from the audience and we'll come to Twitter. Yes, please. Go ahead, sir.
I strongly believe that there's no denying the fact that there are leaders who actually have the interest of these people at heart. I'm sorry, my name is Biodun. Unfortunately, it is not written in their forehead. To me, it's because the process of removing or impeaching these leaders takes forever, and that's why they believe once they get there, they can do whatever they can do with the masses. If the process or the constitution can be amended in such a way that removing these people won't take time, I strongly believe that things will change for better.
So let me answer that question. Voting the right leader to change the law. Point and simple. Let's go. Let's talk to
Andrew says, we're a laughing stock to the rest of the world as regards leadership, especially now in the black world. Akim Amao says, I agree with your guest. Knowledge can be limited, but intelligence involves reasoning, planning, problem solving, creativity. The application of logic ability is in every situation. So we need leaders who are intelligent and have uncompromising sense of service. And
we have to round up. Let me just, because you see, unfortunately, we don't have time to answer this question, but I always marvel when I remember Donald Trump's strategy. Because everybody, we calculated and we predicted for Hillary. Everybody, all the political calculations was for Hillary. But he went back and we looked for those voters that totally have been seemingly abandoned. Somehow these guys were able to be brought back into the voting
Their
system.
language.
He spoke what they wanted to hear. Now, who is reading our political climate? Who is understanding where we are? Who is seeing that there are young people out there who turned 18? Who want? What are they doing? What are the strategies out there that we can tap into as candidates to get new fresh voters, so we can at least submerge all these older leaders that have been there? How?
That answer is not today.
Honestly.
It has to start one day.
Okay.
And this discussion could lay the foundation for that.
Yeah.
Looking at the statistics of the last 2015 election, we discovered that 30 million of the registered voters did not perform their civic responsibility.
Yeah.
They didn't come out to vote.
So whoever is pitching for 2019 has a lot of work to do. Yes, there's a 30 million idle voting power lying waste. So if you go into that, you could change the dynamics of 2019.
Okay.
But that's why you need knowledge-driven people to do it.
Unfortunately, we have to round up. Honestly, I really hate rounding up.
We didn't respond to the question of the PVC issue. I think it's very important.
Go ahead.
Because, like we said, the leadership we are looking for now goes beyond just having passion. You need people who have the skill set to lead the economy, to drive national discussion and debates, so we can arrive at good consensus. Critical to this is your voting power. That power does not exist if you are lacking in terms of PVC. Yes. I think INEC is responding to public outcry.
Exactly.
That's the reason for the extension of the PVC deadline. So we need to get people to get back to do their PVC, and that's our organization.
We have to round up, unfortunately. I know from what she has said, she has gone now. She has done her part. She has gone there.
But unfortunately,
go back again. It's quite stressful. So we'll call INEC and see what they can do to make it easier. Maybe easier, so that at least more people can be encouraged to get their PVCs. That's all we can take, sir. We have to round up, unfortunately. We're out of time. September 15th, what's going on?
CVL is running a roadshow.
Oh, wow.
To get people who are currently sleeping.
September 15th, where?
Working from our office in Victoria Island. We're walking through Ozubamba-Duwe, to Bonny Camp,
fantastic.
Through the corridor of racecourse to Obalende.
Okay.
We're getting a lot of support from
so CVL will be doing that work.
Artists and so on. Professor Patu Tomi is leading the work.
So obviously, the response is there. We all want this PVC. It's just INEC has to make it easier for us to get. That's all we can take. Have a fabulous day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.